All right. Welcome to Nerd Positive. This is a Facebook and YouTube live podcast show that celebrates all the things that we feel are awesome in hopes of spreading our fandom to you. After the live show airs, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you find audio podcasts just a little bit later. In the show, we dive deep into the hearts of fandoms and celebrate the things we love. From sci-fi to fantasy, movies to TV shows, comics to video games, we explore the universes that have captured our imaginations and made us lifelong fans. Each week, we'll take you on a journey through the realms of awesomeness. Expect passionate discussions, in depth analyses, things under the bed, and many side quests. So, whether you're a diehard yippee-ki-yay motherfucker or just dipping your toes in the fandom waters, the Fandemic is the place to be. Not Fandemic. We're not the Fandemic anymore. We're Nerd Positive. I need to fix my template. I'm the host.
Well, once you caught the pandemic, then you become nerd positive. You got
That's
this,
right.
Sir? All right. We don't do this for fun.
And that's why that's there. That's why it's there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome. Proudly be tuned with me every week. I have the unverified twin of Dave Bautista in the head wrinkles, the unverified twin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrows, the unverified twin of Carl Weathers in the mustache,
the flavor saver,
the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples.
Straight out of the nipples, man.
Ooh, all right, who are you?
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, folks in the podcast universe. My name is Brian S. Dennis. With this week, the S stands for That's Entertainment.
Yes, it is. All right. So we're going to get into our favorites of the week in just a second. I got a bunch of lunch break reviews. I've been putting on a lot of mini episodes just to get through, talking about a lot of stuff. There's some good comics. I'll get into that in just a minute. Brian, what's your favorites of the week?
All right. So my favorites of the week, I'm starting with my shows of the week. So 2 shows. There are lots of things out there, getting caught up on a bunch of stuff. But my 2 favorites of the week, and then we're going to talk some premieres that are coming out later on, is High Potential, as well as Bradley. Did you see the new season of Vox Machina has dropped?
Yes, I have. I have.
Those 2 are right there together. And as far as movie of the week, I've seen some decent ones, but I got to tell you, nothing is going to compete with a movie that dropped earlier this month on Prime. It came out at 2 a.m. I think I bought it about 3:30 a.m. I love it. You love it. The whole world love it. It is the number 2 grossing movie of 2024. It is the highest grossing rated R movie of all time, which means it's better than Hollywood Jesus. Not real Jesus, Hollywood Jesus became the lightning strikes.
Right.
It also brought back the power of NSYNC with Bye, Bye, Bye. And wow, I may be the unverified twin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrow. I may be the unverified twin of Carl Weathers with the mustache / flavor saver. I may very well be the unverified twin of Dave Bautista in the head wrinkles and Shamar Moore in the nipples. But I am saying right now with the blue box, I am the verified twin of Hugh Jackman in the abs. That's right. Deadpool and Wolverine dropped earlier this month. I believe October 1st to be specific. I love it. Who doesn't love that movie? So there's not a movie that I've seen recently that could compare with the rewatching of Deadpool and Wolverine. And don't we all love us a little dog pool in our lives?
This is true. Absolutely true. Man, so like my TV show is same as you, High Potential and Vox Machina. Was sprinkled in with a little bit of Penguin and season 2 of Rings of Power is done.
Got to give a shout out to Rings of Power. My kid is loving it. I need to catch up. He's loving it. He says it's fantastic. I want to give Brenda a shout out with that.
Yeah, I'm 2 episodes behind, so I have 2 from the end, but I wanted to give a shout out for sure. But man, I've been catching up on a lot of comics. DC is on fire right now.
All right.
They released the finale of Absolute Power.
Power.
Absolute
Yep.
Power is pretty much Amanda Waller's being Amanda Waller, and she
Yes.
out how to get rid of all the superpowers, the heroes of superpowers.
Yes.
Which means who's going to be the most important superhero if nobody has powers? Why, that's Batman.
If Amanda Waller gets rid of people with superpowers, this is going to be the crossover to the live action version of herself. Will she still tell the non-powered people, you is smart, you is kind, you is important? And if you don't get that reference, Amanda Waller live action is played by Viola Davis, and Viola Davis and The Help reminded people that they are smart, they are kind, they are important.
Yes.
All right, my friend. Yes, sir.
Yes, Absolute Power. They figured that out. Actually, Nightwing was kind of the star of that one a little bit,
Nice.
as he should be. And then DC dropped that came. So Absolute Power came to the end, and then they dropped the All In. Yes, DC is going all in with the
which is much better than
Absolute.
AEW All In any day of the week. So I would prefer DC's All In. Go for it.
100%. 100%. We get your first look at the Absolute Batman, the Absolute Superman, and the Absolute Wonder Woman. And then Absolute Batman dropped. And dude, I tell you what, it is so freaking fantastic. I can't say enough good things about it. Written by Scott Snyder, art by Nick Dragata. So fantastic. This is a Bruce Wayne, a blue collar Bruce Wayne.
Nice.
And no money. He's a civil engineer for the city of Gotham. And like Alfred Pennyworth is kind of like a spy guy. He works for he's working for some organization. They don't want to say what yet. I'm gonna guess. I'm thinking it might be the League of Shadows, maybe.
Right.
But they some big changes. So one of the biggest changes they did do mess around with the origin a little bit, but Mom is still alive.
Nice.
Mom, Martha, is still alive in the absolute world. So maybe it would be awesome if when they introduce the Superman, because Superman comes to Earth as an adult, not a kid, not a baby.
Yes.
If if Martha takes him under his wing too, because I think that would be awesome and throw some little bit well-deserved shade.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this in here.
Yeah.
So who would you, so we know there's a theme, especially in two big companies, Marvel and DC, that they use the loss of Warner both, as Disney, by the way, was doing this before Disney acquired Marvel. But we know it's a fairly common occurrence in comic book lore that the loss of Warner both parents or loss of some connection to home is so much in the origins of both heroes and villains. So Peter Parker loses Uncle Ben. Batman loses both of his parents. Superman loses his entire planet. Wonder Woman is on some level exiled from Themyscira, right? The Lanterns are usually trying to find some way back to their people. John Jones, or the Martian Manhunter, loses his connection to his planet. That's a common theme, right? So here's my question. If we rewrote a lot of those backstories, who would you rather be? Who would you rather be raised by? The Kents, the Parkers, or the Waynes?
Oh man,
with everything that comes with it, from the farmland of the Kents in Smallville, Kansas, versus all the way to the affluence of the Waynes being a billionaire's son, which means you probably run for president at some point.
Probably.
What do you think? What do you think? And somewhere in the middle with the Parkers.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'd go Kent. I think I would go Kent. You're old,
especially if Ma Kent is Diane Lane.
Yes.
Which leads to the other spinoff of the more modern depictions. Diane Lane as Ma Kent, or shoot, I'm forget her name. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May.
Marissa Tomei as Aunt May.
Yes. If you've ever seen The Wrestler, that ends that discussion at all.
Man, if you've ever seen My Cousin Vinny,
yes. Yeah. Joe Pesci is a lucky son of a gun. Okay.
Oh, man. No, man. Yes. Great movie too. Definitely needs a rewatch.
Yes, It saved Ralph Macchio's career, because at that point, I always waited for him what he was healing from sweeping the leg. So, all right, I'll let you get back to your stuff, man. I want to see what your thoughts on that. And folks, we tell you, There will be side quests. All right.
That's right. That's right. And movie, man, I didn't really watch a lot, but I did get to see bits and pieces of Terrifier 3, and it was
Okay.
nice and bloody. It was fine, gory,
Nice.
what it is.
Is Smile 2 out yet?
Next week. Smile
Okay.
2 comes out next week, along
Okay.
with We in Time. So
Nice. Okay.
dude, I think we can move right into
Let's hit it.
our topic of the week, or I'm sorry, topics of the
Topic.
week.
So
I think we
let's
should
start off
this-
with our WWE stuff. Just by the
Yes.
fact that it's a few weeks. We did a couple weeks off just getting our schedules lined up. Again, for folks, as much as Brad and I love comic books, movies, all the things, we also love real life superheroes in the WWE. So the WWE had a pay-per-view a few weeks ago. We actually did not do our typical pay-per-view prep, so we'll just go through the. It was a smaller card, 5 matches. Bad Blood, having starting out from the Dirty in the A, and we'll just talk a little bit about the match, especially the first match on the card and the last match on the card. So match number 1, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in what we have not had in probably a few years, which is a proper Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
No red cage, no weird lighting, and a cage match that actually is part of a feud that made sense, and a match that we had something that the WWE has not had other than accidentally, which is blood.
Mm-hmm.
So Punk wins the match against McIntyre. What are your thoughts? I'm checking the time. The match was about a little over a half hour, and both of these athletes, think whatever you want, professional wrestler athletes, both of these men looked spent, including we saw Punk the next 2 nights later on Raw. So quick thought, do you think it was the right decision, Punk going over McIntyre, and just what were your thoughts on the match?
Man, it was a great match. It is going to be one of the best matches probably in years. It was so good.
Yeah.
It
probably an early match of the year candidate. Definitely.
Yeah,
well, not early. It's October, so
I mean,
a strong match of the year candidate.
And I think that there's some truth that after that match, Punk might be taking a little bit of a breather.
Right. I mean, I think we're gonna see, and I think we should. I think just for not only for storyline, where you can't have 2 people go through what they go through and have them show up on Monday. Hey, I'm good. I've got a little band-aid.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like you said, I mean, Punk has had some significant injuries going back to his year plus he was in AEW. They both took some really tough bumps. Both bled. Well, one of the reviews they said Punk bled, McIntyre gushed because he did. That was like a Triple H, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes level blade job with the amount of bleeding that he did.
And he was it like 17 staples in his head afterwards?
It was pretty significant.
Yeah.
From a guy, and let's give him credit, from a guy that his initial run in WWE, his criticism was he was a pretty boy. So he's gone really completely 180 and really established himself. And this was, I agree with this. And what I liked about this match, other than it was a proper, brutal Hell in a Cell match. You saw Punk, I think, legitimately have some struggles getting back to the back. He definitely didn't like he wanted anyone to help him, so I think that was legit. And then how he looked on Raw 2 nights later, I didn't see McIntyre on Monday. I didn't see him on SmackDown either. But also, I think it puts the end to, I think, one of the better feuds they've done. And I don't think, regardless of who won and who lost, I don't think either person came out less than. I don't think we're going to look at Drew McIntyre and go, oh, see, I mean, he definitely got his licks in. And I think it has worked out phenomenally well. Next up, we've got the women's, the WWE women's title match, which is Nia Jax versus Bayley. Jax retains by hitting Bayley with the Annihilator, not her uncle, RIP to Yokozuna. What were your thoughts on this match?
It was fine.
Yep.
It was there. I didn't, I mean, that was the match that I went around and did with the other stuff mostly.
Gotcha.
I mean, it was a good match. Nia always performs well.
Yep.
but you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah,
There
and
was
her and Bailey
no,
have really good chemistry, but at the same
yeah,
time, I think we all know the big thing for this feud is eventually Nia and Tiffany Stratton.
yeah.
Tiffy time. And by
I
the
mean,
way,
we won some.
let's just give our acknowledgement while we to one Ludwig Kaiser, who is Tiffany Stratton's real life boyfriend.
Yeah,
You know what, my guy? Gunther can have the world title. You're the number one guy of Imperium right now. You're winning Imperium right now, sir.
absolutely.
Yeah. And Tiffany got involved as you knew it would, and it's still the will they won't they with the feud,
Yeah,
with the Money in the Bank contract she holds. Bailey did a great job. Bailey and Nia have really good chemistry. We probably won't see Bailey for a little bit. By the way, I think that's fine. When you've got these big rosters, it's cool if you don't see people every single week. I
yep,
think that makes sense. And so you talk about the match that you went and did stuff during. The match that I just went and did stuff during was the next match, which is Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. Uh, Damian Priest won. He should.
yep.
Makes sense. Uh,
That was a quicker match too.
it was a quicker match. It was the short. I'm looking at the times here. It was the shortest match of the night, a little over 12 minutes. And Priest won, going over clean as he should have, which will let Priest move away from the Judgment Day. I think of all the people that had matches on Bad Blood, Damian Priest is the one that I have the most. I don't want to say concern, but as we talked about it, there's really not. I don't think there's a clear path for what we do. We're talking about
Yeah,
Rhea Ripley next, but I don't think there's a next. It's time for him to move away from the Judgment. It's time for the Judgment Day to do other things. Finn's half of the tag champs, so they can build on a lot of those things. There's some other updates with the Judgment Day we'll talk about in the next match. But I'm curious what you do with Damian Priest. I mean, a couple of months ago, this guy was the world champion. I mean, in August he was the world champ. I don't know what you. He's a great performer. I really like him. I know you're a big fan of him as well.
mhm.
He needs somebody to feud with, and who knows? Maybe we get a Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre program next. But I
So
think we need him to have a good feud with someone.
I
Go ahead.
have a theory.
I would love to hear your theory.
I think he's going to join a tag team with R-Truth and go after the titles.
I like that. They could be the awesome priests.
Dude,
Yeah.
we've been talking about a tag team with Damian Priest and
And
R-Truth
R-Truth.
for probably about a year. Ever since Truth came
Yes.
back at WrestleMania, so maybe not
Yep.
a year, but 6-7 months. We've wanted this.
By the way, I meant to send it to you. So yesterday was the Miz's birthday, and Truth
That's
put
awesome.
it is. So let me see if I can find it really quickly. Truth did a post based on the feud that him and Miz are having going on, and they're going to have their match on Raw tomorrow night, which I'm really looking forward to. But I'm trying to see if I thought I saved the tweet because yep, I did. So this is from Ron Killings, aka R-Truth's official, and I'll send you the screenshot as well. But the official tweet from R-Truth to Mike Mazan, the Miz's Twitter page for the Miz's birthday yesterday. Here it comes. At Mike the Miz, I wish when you sleep at night, both sides of your pillow is hot and you have saltine cracker crumbs in your sheets. That's all. That's the tweet.
I love R-Truth.
From R-Truth. It was flipping awesome. Awesome. Yeah. We are both fans of the Awesome Truth as a tag team. That's going away.
Yes.
We won't go into a deeper dive when it comes to Raw. We can do that on another show. I am curious still. They're still making something. They're trying to do something with him and a Final Testament. There's nothing about the Miz that makes the Final Testament make sense.
No.
But we will get a Miz R-Truth match. I'm not saying it's gonna be Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels. It will be entertaining.
Yeah,
it will be entertaining.
See that rumor has it that the Wyatt Six is going to be going after Karrion Kross next,
which would make sense.
Yeah, which I like.
Yeah. Up next we've got Rhea Ripley.
She's single now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
She's single now.
She is single now.
Yeah.
By the way, did you hear during her coming out to the ring, Corey Graves, I got to give him his flowers. He did a great job at Bad Blood. He actually mentioned that maybe Rhea can find a nice guy, maybe with a lot of muscles, referring to Buddy Matthews or Buddy Murphy, who is her real husband, who, if you've never seen this dude, he's jacked. I mean, he's not a big guy, but he is ripped.
Yeah.
So Rhea Ripley taking on Liv Morgan with Dirty Dom Mysterio. Again, growing up in the South, been a huge fan of old school NWA, WCW. They had Damien. They had Dom in a shark cage, which is totally goes back to some old NWA, WCW matches. Quickly, Rhea, while she dominated the match as she should, she did not win the championship as she should not.
Correct.
She won the match by disqualification. So Liv Morgan keeps the title. Rhea doesn't need it. Liv, I think, is doing really good as a heel champion. And we got the debuting of Raquel Rodriguez, who's one of the few women whose stature, size-wise, matches up well with Rhea. And there's some history there between the two of them. So that's going to be the next step. And I really love this fast one real quickly to Raw. They have her really filling the role kind of like Diesel did when Shawn Michaels back in the day. So you've got a smaller champion who can kind of be heelish and run away, kind of cowardly, with this silent, badass bodyguard, which is Raquel Rodriguez, which is probably good for Raquel Rodriguez long term. And you never know, if this thing runs to give Liv a long title reign, maybe get Raquel turning babyface at some point. But definitely Rhea's got her next program with Raquel Rodriguez. So we've got Double R versus Double R. That's going to be a mouthful in those matches. And then finally, the main event, Cody Rhodes with the OTC, not over the counter, the original tribal chief. We will. Before we get into more of this, I wound up catching up on SmackDown for the recording, but I got to tell you, I still just love Roman Reigns' interest when he puts the ones up. They are the ones. And did you see the new T-shirt they have out now saying they are not the ones, referring to the new bloodline, which is going to matter here in a minute. But we had Cody and Roman. Again, this is very much old school Southern booking. You've got two guys that used to really butt heads that come together against a common foe, against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, the new bloodline. The long and short of the match is Roman Reigns pins Solo Sikoa, which is the right call, thanks to the re-debuting of Jimmy Uso, or we now hear him called Big Jim. And we had that. And then, of course, we had not only that return, we had another return. He may not be the OTC, but he is the final boss. My twin brother from another mother. I am the unverified twin. On the eyebrows, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yes.
Who comes out, doesn't say a thing, counts 1, counts 2, counts 3, slit to the throat, walks off. So, Brad, this is what I got some questions regarding what's next, but what do you think is on The Rock's agenda based on that brief but very powerful return?
I think he's putting together his own bloodline. I think, yeah, I mean, I guess it could have been the 1, 2, 3 for Jimmy, Roman, and Cody.
Very well could be. Yep.
I don't know, man. I was thinking 1 bloodline, 2 bloodlines, 3 bloodlines.
There are definitely enough legitimate Samoan family members that have connection to the Anoa'i family that he could build his own. And don't forget, he did say at some point he was coming back to challenge Cody. And I think personally, I think that's our Royal Rumble main event.
I like it.
He came back to face CM Punk a few years ago, also at the Royal Rumble. So he's got a lot of things there. So here, kind of my follow-up question before we delve into our next big topic, which is of the 5 matches: Punk versus McIntyre, Hell in a Cell, Nia defeating Bayley, Damian Priest beating Balor, Rhea defeating Liv Morgan by disqualification in the Women's World Championship match, and then the main event tag match. What was to you your favorite or best match of the night?
CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, without
Absolutely.
a doubt, man. But I gotta say, dude, Drew McIntyre is. I mean, like he's good. Everybody
Hmm.
knows he's good.
Hmm.
He was phenomenal.
Yes,
He was on point, man. Like
absolutely.
he should be the best heel at 100%. I mean,
I
like,
think he's. I mean, seriously, on that brand, barring some type of change, which is something you can
yeah,
talk about on Raw, that they need a really dominant heel because all the top talent on Raw right now are baby faces. You've got, well, Gunther is the champion, but
yeah,
you've got Seth Rollins, you've got CM Punk. A step underneath that, you've got probably Damian Priest. You need that top level heel, and I agree with you. It really is Drew. It really is
yeah.
Drew McIntyre. What to you was either the worst or least favorite match of the night?
I would probably have to say Nia.
Okay.
I mean, like the only thing I care about the Nia matches is the end when
Right.
Tiffy gets in there and everything,
Yes.
and how they're building that up.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I do. I think it would be interesting if she turns in her case at Crown Jewel
Mm.
and
Mm.
ends up not being able to take Liv's title. So, and then she
Yeah.
accidentally takes Nia's
Nia. Yes.
title,
Yes.
and then I think that's where we might stop it because they're Saudi Arabia is giving the WWE
A lot of, we're talking in
a
the billions, folks,
lot
with a
of
B.
money.
A lot of money. And so you will see some major things happen at
Yeah.
those Crown Royal yeah. Crown Royal events. I totally agree with Crown Jewel event, not Crown Royal. I know that
Mm.
doesn't feel right. Um
I mean, it does feel right
yeah,
here, man.
and another thing, right? That's after podcast, sir. But I agree with you. My favorite match was CM Punk. To me, my least favorite was Priest Balor. First, there was not a bad match on the card.
No, no.
It was just matches that honestly, both the Jax Bailey match and the Priest Balor match, they could have been a main event on either on Raw or on
Yeah.
SmackDown. And they end the fuse that need to end it. You know, Bailey got a rematch and lost. Again, what happened next with her? And Damian Priest beat Balor. I like your idea of the tag team with Damian Priest and R-Truth, and then of course you just can't you got to give The Rock again just that return of
Hmm.
all the things. So now we've had the return of Jimmy Uso, we've had the return of The Rock at least for a little bit. So there's only really one significant member for this whole bloodline feud as storyline we've not seen back, which I think will come up next. All right. So I want to talk about the next two pay-per-views briefly, which is just get your predictions first off
Hmm.
when it comes to Crown Jewel, which is 3 weeks from yesterday.
Yeah.
The big news that came out of it is every year they're going to have a Crown Jewel champion. But you're going to have the two women's champions facing off and the two men's champions facing off. I personally am a big fan of that idea because one of the great things they've done with the brand split is you can have the champions not interact. So, it'd be a great, but you're going to give that match away again. All the money Saudi Arabia is giving the WWE, it makes sense they could get this type of thing going. But and it's a title strictly for a pay per view, so it's not something going to be defended. So we're not adding a third championship.
Hmm.
But I'm not. But yeah. But with that being said, based on what we've got, and they did something similar with not SmackDown, but Survivor Series a few years ago. But with that being said, the way it stands, unless there's some type of title change, which I don't think that'll really happen, would be if Tiffany was to cash in, I think. But you're going to have Nia Jax, and the poster already have these matches set, so we assume they're going to happen this way. Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. Who do you think wins that match, Jax or Morgan?
Jax.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Liv doesn't need it, and they're still
Mhm.
built, and they're still building
Right.
Nia's resume. Why is
Absolutely.
she not part of the bloodline?
Well, there's a couple options. Right now, there's no female present in the bloodline. So, which do you think would make more sense joining the bloodline? So, if you talk about Solo's bloodline, which, by the way, this could actually make sense. If Jax was to join Solo's bloodline because she is a blood relation to the Anoa'i family, we saw her get pinned on SmackDown by Naomi, who is by blood, by marriage,
Jimmy.
a member of the Anoa'i family through her marriage
Yeah.
marriage to Jimmy Uso, who is now back on SmackDown. So you
Yeah.
might see that bloodline continue to grow. Then the men's title will be Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. Who do you think wins this match?
I think Gunther's going to win.
Absolutely. I think they'll have some bloodline interference. And they
Yep.
really built up Gunther. They keep publicizing Gunther's only lost, pinned anyway. He's only been pinned one time, which is by Sami Zayn. He lost a match by count out to Chad Gable. But I agree with you. Some type of bloodline interference, which again strengthens for what we're going to talk about next. But then Gunther wins that championship. And Cody, the type of babyface he is, Cody can lose matches, not a lot. But Cody can lose a match to a top level person and still be, in fact, it can actually strengthen his connection as the number one babyface. All right.
Yep.
So with that, then jumping ahead in November, right after Thanksgiving, we've got Survivor Series War Games.
Yes.
And with that, that'll be on November 30th. While nothing's been announced, with it being a War Games match, with there being a War Games match as part of the pay-per-view, obviously this is going to be some type of bloodline versus bloodline. So here's my question. I'm assuming a new bloodline I'm assuming it's going to be a 4-on-4. They've done 4-on-4 War Games match. They've done 5-on-5 War Game match, but assume it's going to be a 4-on-4. So on one side, you've got the new bloodline, as I'm calling them, Solo Sikoa, the tag champs of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu, taking on Roman, Jimmy Uso, and as Jimmy said in the SmackDown, we need help. Who to you are the other two members of the OG bloodline match at War Games? Roman's team.
I mean, it's got to be Yeet. It's got to be Jay.
Wait. Or no Yeet. That was awesome.
that was
Roman
that was
just going.
awesome.
Roman's loving it. He let the moment build and just go, no Yeet. But you're right. I agree that one of the people will definitely be Jimmy Uso.
I mean, honestly, I think Sami Zayn could get in there.
And Sami right now needs something. He lost to Gunther.
Yeah.
Cleanly. They've done something like him looking really down.
Roman's a good guy now. I mean, like they're so
See him jumping on there. Yep.
I think Jay and Sami.
I was gonna say, yep. I was and the only thing I can think of is other than, and possibly this is what we get. We get Sami on the bloodline team. Potentially we could get Cody on that as well. I think it'll be Sami, or I think it'll be Jay. And then I think the fourth member is either Cody or Sami. And the only thing that I think would maybe take Cody out of that is if, let's say, somehow The Rock or someone like that will be The Rock. Let's say The Rock interferes at Crown Royal to get the match with Cody at Survivor Series or something of that nature. But I agree with you. I think it's much more likely for it to be Sami. But if Cody doesn't have another match for him to defend his title, then him joining the bloodline in the War Games match also makes sense. All right. So with that, we've talked a lot about the WWE, which is always a positive experience lately. We got to talk about a movie that has faced a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
Joker Folie à Deux, or as most viewers, because most of us do not speak French, Joker Part 2. We texted a little bit about this, but I really wanted to wait for us to do this together on the pod. We saw the movie separately.
Yep.
What are your thoughts about Joker 2?
It went nowhere. So the Joker 2, don't forget to take your pills.
That was the crux of it. Just dude, take your meds, man. Take your meds. They removed, and I'm sorry to jump in. So with the first Joker, there's always that ending of, did it happen? Was it hallucination?
Yep.
All the things. They took away, and I thought that's where they were going at the beginning of it, because they had heard the really brief interaction between him and, by the way, the amount of people, Joker 2 has its flaws. The amount of people who lost their mind by the fact that she goes by Lee and not Harley is ridiculous. Okay.
I know, stupid.
Yeah. But that being said, it has some misfires. But again, they removed, and I was waiting at the end of it, and I want to talk about the ending as real specifically, but I was waiting at the end of it to somehow it be everything that happened in his mind. He never actually got to meet Harleen. He created all these things, but They and I think that's an opportunity that they missed.
Mhm.
It's not quite 2.5. I think it's 2 minutes and 2018 minutes somewhere in there. I agree with you. It could have been better. I really ebbed and flowed on there. Parts I thought, wow, I was really digging this. The other parts I'm like,
Too much of it was in his head. Too
yeah,
much of it. I mean, like you got everything you need out of that movie from the trailers,
yes.
and
Yes, and the
that's
amount of people who felt it was an unnecessary sequel, I got to tell you, when they messed with the sequel, I'm like, why? I thought it ended perfectly.
mhm.
I didn't think they needed to do a sequel, and the sequel didn't really. And I was telling this to some of my students who want to go see it. As much instead of this hoity-toity subtitle, it should have been called Joker Arthur Fleck. So
Yeah,
because so much of this was him trying to come to terms with being a Joker, and spoiler alert, folks, so much of this is him trying to not be Joker. And that
yeah,
was and I think they had a missed opportunity of when he did the interview in the prison cell. I thought, well, okay, something will happen here. Um, he never got a good moment against our boy Mad Eye Moody playing the prison guard. I mean, there are all these things like, uh. So if you had to pick a part of that you liked, was there any part that you really dug?
yes. The
Okay.
last 10 seconds.
Pause. We will come back to that. I was hoping you caught what I caught. I think we've
Oh,
not talked about this. So pause. Okay.
yes, yes.
Worst
Ye
part.
yes, I would say
What part didn't you like? Was there a worst
the
part
part
to
that
it?
I liked the most was Gaga.
Okay.
Lady Gaga was brilliant in this
I think
movie,
she'll get an Academy
and
Award
yeah,
nomination. I
she
think she
slayed
really,
every scene that she was in.
yeah, she could have
Every
been in it more,
single
but she
scene
absolutely
she was in.
slayed. She slayed.
She's good.
I got yeah. As at a certain point that and Joaquin Phoenix, I think did a. I wouldn't surprise Joaquin Phoenix gets some type of award nom, maybe not an Oscar, maybe a Golden Globe. I think he did the best he could. I think the script has some flaws with it, but I
Mhm.
think he did the best he could. He gets in very. I mean, he plays a person with significant mental health concerns, and as a person that's worked in the mental health field, he plays that very authentically. He
Mhm.
plays that very. There's no shaming. There's no. I think he plays that, and I got to give. And I think he plays it very respectfully. I think
Mhm.
he plays it very respectfully. For me, the best part also, which we'll come back here in a minute. The worst part, like you said, the pacing, similar to with the music. Some of those were just I
Yeah.
liked the Vast Entertainment song, which is where my S came from this week. That's from the musical The Bandwagon, which I saw at Flick's Brewhouse. So they had parts of that movie before we got there. I thought the cartoon before that was pretty good. Um,
That
again,
was good.
the music piece. It's not a musical in the way that Hamilton is a musical, or La La Land is a musical. It has music in it. I would not necessarily
Mhm.
call it a musical. And and I think they did a good job of juxtaposing Joaquin Phoenix, who's not a singer, to Lady Gaga, who obviously is and very well known. And also, though, similar to different than A Star Is Born, they had her not sing well, and that's got to be perfect. She's a very good singer. For
Yeah.
her not to sing well, except for certain songs, so she did a great job there. Again, she was my favorite character. And then before we get to our this or that, let's talk about that ending. Now, before we get too
But
into it,
Brian, why
yeah.
why so serious?
So, my man, that's why we're tag team partners, bro. So for every person, and I mean, we don't usually go like, oh, you can think what you want because we
Yeah.
mean that, but I mean this for the nerdverse out there. Y'all all know that Batman is my favorite hero. Joker's
Mhm.
my favorite villain. If you know anything about the Joker mythos, especially the big budget movies, especially the Zack Snyder movies, not Zack Snyder. Geez, I'm blanking on his name right now. But
Christopher Nolan.
thank you, the Christopher Nolan movies. Yeah, Zack Snyder did it. We still be watching it.
I mean,
Yeah.
but now Jared Leto is now a better Joker than Joaquin Phoenix. So
Hang on, we gonna get there, bro. But with that being said, if you knew the Christopher Nolan movies, even without that. Okay, so for fans out there, spoiler alert, because we're going to discuss the ending of it, which I think we both agree was the best part of the movie. The movie has concluded. He's rejected the Joker identity. He's gotten into a fight. He's broken up with Lee Harleen. By the way, did you catch the whole? I felt really bad for Arthur Fleck when they're having their romantic moment in jail, and he goes, "Can you feel it?" Oh, Arthur. Oh, maybe you should have borrowed Penguin's cane. Anyway, all right. So with
that's
that,
on Sundays.
that's when you should have done something under the bed. But he and so this, if you know movie, if you know also what should have happened, this logically, the first part of the ending is what logically should have happened. Also, if you saw how that scene progressed, you knew what was going to happen. An inmate walks up behind Arthur Fleck, gets his attention, and basically says, "I'm going to give you what you deserve," and he stabs Arthur Fleck repeatedly, to which Arthur Fleck is going to die. My son noted that if you watch the blood, it actually almost looks like a bat signal on his shirt.
Interesting.
But then what happens next is Arthur's laying on the ground dying. The inmate, who is unnamed, which I love that, is off in the background. He slowly sits down, and as you said, sir, why so serious? What does he begin to do? And they stuck with it so you can see where, not in a lot of detail, but you can see what he does. Tag team partner, what does this unnamed psychopathic, remember he calls himself a psychopath in the tail end of it, what does he do? Oh, Bradley is frozen. I will hang for a moment. Bradley's hopped off. We'll give him a moment to get back on. Hey.
Okay, we're back. I don't know what that is.
Yes,
but,
no worries.
You know what? Yeah.
No worries. So I'm sure you didn't hear that last time. I was handing over to you that we have the ending where Fleck is stabbed in the stomach multiple times. He dies, and then we see the unnamed prisoner who calls himself a psychopath in the joke, quote unquote. He tells Arthur. He sits to the ground, and while the camera does not show us fine detail, which it shouldn't have, we can see enough to know what happens next. So, tag team partner, what does unnamed prisoner do?
Well, you see, Brian, there's a story, and do you know how I got these scars?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's a broken movie. It is not what we wanted. It's probably an unnecessary sequel. But the thing that made that movie resonate with me was, number one, Arthur Fleck, as we know it, needed to die at the end of the movie. He should. He absolutely. There are times in movies where you kill characters off. He should have been killed off. He should have been killed off.
He should have died in the first one.
Yes. But then you have, because remember, this movie was supposed to take place in the 80s. So then you see a very young prisoner doing self-inflicted wounds that absolutely could be the Heath Ledger Joker. And again, back to folks, if you know your canon, one of the things that is commonly known about Joker is Joker does not have a consistent origin story. Joker does not have a consistent alter ego. The idea of it is Joker's madness is to the extent that Joker does not remember who Joker initially was. There's lots of versions. The Red Hood version, the comedian falling into the acid bath, and then that being picked up by I'm drawing up the Robin second Robin. Jason Todd. Mantle of the name Red Hood anyway. But even that is not always. There's version that Alfred is the Joker. There's version that Martha Wayne is the Joker, right?
There's versions where
So
Bruce Wayne is the Joker.
the Joker, right?
Yeah.
So for them to go, oh, that doesn't make sense. It's not this, whatever. Okay, that
Don't
little
cry.
snippet was fantastic.
Yeah.
And had we gotten there through a much more efficient movie, it would have been there. So, with that being said, sir, we haven't did a beardy score in a minute with the movie. Just what are you giving this one? And as a standalone, if you've never seen Joker, what are you giving Joker 2?
I am giving Joker 2 2-day stubble.
Wow, 2-day stubble.
2 days stubble, not clean shaven. There was some redeeming. You know what? I take that back. I'm gonna give it a week stubble. One, like I didn't shave for a week, so the beard isn't tight. It just it could look better. Yeah, so the equivalent to maybe 3 beardies.
Fair. I was initially gonna go, I'm giving it the Dustin Diamond Screech, can't grow it at all type deal, but I'm not gonna do that. I will, though, like you said, it has some redeeming moments. So here's the deal. Here's what it is not. It is not the worst superhero movie ever made. It is not.
No.
It is not. So if people, you want to go see it, go see it.
Definitely, you want to see it. I mean, it is a piece of art.
Do not buy into the review bombs that happen on Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb. It is not worse than Morbius. It is not worse than the externals. It is not. It truthfully is not. Is it the best thing ever? Absolutely not. But it is definitely better. It is better than some definitely movies that we've seen out there. It's better than Wonder Woman 84. I'm looking on the IMDb scale right now to see what are some of the lowest rated.
It's better than
ones.
The new Crow movie.
It is better than the new Crow. I think it's better than it's different. I was gonna say I think it's better than Marvel's. I don't know about that. By the way, to show you how biased fans can be. Do you know what movie is that Marvel's is that based on fan response?
Mm-hmm.
The movie that is slotted just after Marvel's as far as superhero as quality superhero movie.
With Thor: Love and Thunder?
No, Mystery Men. Based on Rotten Tomatoes scores, Marvel's is better than Mystery Men. It is not.
No, you're not. But they're gonna I didn't mind the Marvels.
No,
I didn't like how they handled Samuel Jackson in it.
Right.
But I didn't mind the Marvels. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry I can't think of her name. I will pretty much watch anything that Miss Marvel's in because that actress is so fantastic.
By the way, Love and Thunder is actually ahead. Okay, so here's what Love and Thunder is ahead of. Is ahead of Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3, until they did the stupid dance, Spider-Man 3 wasn't that bad. It is better. They have Spider-Man 3 as being better than the Eric Bana Hulk. Yeah, give you that one.
That's fair.
They haven't been better than Marvel's. Again, if you take out a couple things, Spider-Man 3 actually wasn't bad. Have it better than Mystery Men. Have it better than Wonder Woman 84. Have it hang on, because this is one. Yeah, I want to make sure I got it right. Spider-Man 3 is viewed as being better than Blade 2.
That's the Guillermo del Toro.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I don't think so.
Yeah, have it better than Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm just looking at some of this again. We look at fandom.
I disagree with that one too.
But but by the way, The Flash is better than, based on fan response, The Flash is better than all those movies I just mentioned. I'm just going backward. Watchmen is considered not as good as Aquaman.
Yeah, that's invalid.
Thor: Dark World is considered better than Watchmen.
Thor 2
is considered better than
I don't
Watchmen.
think you should trust this list.
By the way, you know what's in front of all those movies I just mentioned? The original 1984 Toxic Avenger.
That's fair.
Zack Snyder's Justice League is better than Watchmen. No.
The 6-hour cut?
Yes.
Okay.
Sky High is considered better than Watchmen.
You know what? I would not be mad for more Sky High in the world.
There was that. Superman Returns, the Brandon Routh movie, is considered better than V for Vendetta. No.
No. And November 5th is right around the corner.
It is. Kick-Ass is considered better than Batman 1989.
Oh, dude, these are some fighting words, buddy.
Blue Beetle is considered better than all of them at this point. Going up
Blue
the.
Beetle. No, I really liked Blue Beetle,
Yes.
but yeah, not better than that. Not better than Batman 89.
Black Widow is considered better than all the ones I've mentioned thus far. Not the original Dredd, but the Carl Urban Dredd is considered better than all the movies I've listed so far.
That there's a case for that one. There's a case for Carl Urban's Dredd.
Batman Returns is considered better than 1989 Batman. Okay. X-Men is better, and I'm going to keep going up the list. But okay, here's one that I think makes my point. Ant-Man, which is a good movie, is not better than Batman 89. It is not better than Blade 2. It is not better than X-Men 2000, but it is considered higher. Trying to find one more. Kind of Ever is pretty highly rated. X2 I think is better than X-Men, but but we're talking 1 and 1A. Anything else that strikes me as outlandish? Crow is really highly up there.
Oh, Logan.
Have not found Logan. I'm going from the bottom to the top. So I've not found Logan yet. So that probably means Logan's looked at pretty good.
Yeah. I'm curious about what number 1 is.
I'm
what about the original Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man?
Nope, I'm already past that. That was Shazam is up there pretty good. So I'm in the top. So here we go. I'm just going to go. And by the way, I've skipped some of the lesser known superhero movies. I'm just trying to speak on Marvel, DC, but based on Rotten Tomatoes, here are the top 20 superhero movies. In number 20, the original Avengers movies from 2012. RoboCop, the original 87. So 18, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1. 17, Spider-Man Homecoming. 16, Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock. 15, Incredibles 2. By the way, the original Incredibles, I think I saw that fairly low, but I might be wrong there. 14, Spider-Man No Way Home. That's with the multiverse. Thor Ragnarok is number 13. And Brad's frozen again. We'll give him a moment.
All right, second time.
All right. So I'm going to go from top 15. So top 15 is Incredibles 2. 14, Spider-Man No Way Home. That's the multiverse version. Thor Ragnarok is 13. Wonder Woman from 2017 is 12. Logan comes in at number 11. 10, I've never even heard of this one, but it's Smoking Causes Coughing. I have no idea. It seems to be a French film.
Okay.
Number 9, the 78 Superman, the movie.
That's number 9?
Yes. Number 8, the original Iron Man. 7, Dark Knight. So that's the highest rated Batman, I believe.
Okay.
Number 6, Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
Again, good movie. I don't think it just should be number 5. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem from last year. Number 5.
That's number 5.
Number 5. Number 4, a movie we both really like, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that's fair.
Number 3, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I'm sorry, the original Black Panther, Wakanda Forever was already passed. Number 2, the original Incredibles. And number 1, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So the first Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie is considered by Rotten Tomatoes the best superhero movie of all time.
I'm not mad about that.
Not
I'm
mad
not mad
about
about the
that. I
top
also
5.
showed you some of the inconsistency of it. So
Yeah.
say Joker's the worst.
Yeah.
When there's lots of movies in it, I would say from this. And the last thing before we move forward to our fall show previews is this. And I think this is where people have really kind of similar to Logan. Logan's a modern day Western that featured a guy that had mutant powers, that had bone claws. Okay. But Logan is not a superhero movie. Logan's a movie that has a superhero in it. Joker is not a superhero movie. Joker's a movie that has a version of a super villain in it. Both Joker and Joker2 are that. So they're not Marvel movies. They're not DC cinematic universe movies. This is a standalone movie. Okay. This would be, again, a dramatic turn. All right. So is it the worst? No. Is it the best? Absolutely not. If you have an interest in going and see it, you should go see it. But I look like we have a friend for a cameo as well. Just looking behind you, brother.
Leia, why don't you tell Brian what you thought of Joker 2?
Okay, you have to hold on to this then. Oh my god.
Love the braces, Leia. I like the braces. They look good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Don't throw that at me.
Oh, show Brian your braces.
I'm digging them. I see the rubber bands too.
Yeah. Don't eat that. He's a weird boy. He's being weird. I beat this boy's butt at No Mercy. And also my thoughts on Joker are it's very boring and I do not recommend seeing it because they could have cut like an hour out of that movie.
Fair.
I was also asleep half the movie.
Fair. And that's okay. That's okay.
How boring it was.
All right.
All right, tell Brian bye-bye.
No.
Bye-bye, Princess Leia.
Well, what if I want to keep the headphones on?
No, because I need it.
Why do you need them? Why can't you do the podcast without the headphones?
Because I can't hear him then. All right, tell Brian bye-bye so we can finish it out with the
Okay.
podcast.
Bye-byes.
Bye-byes. All right.
I was wondering when that was going to happen.
Yep. Okay, I know we're going to talk about fall preview. We're going a little long here. I'm going to do
That's
real
right.
quick. I'm going to do real quick this or that because you
All
actually picked on one of them already. So there are 3 of them. I just wanted to tell me which do you prefer and why. So you actually beat me to it. Which of these do you prefer now that we have had Joker 2? Who between these two is the better Joker? Joaquin Phoenix or Jared Leto?
Jared Leto.
All right. And if there had been no Joker 2,
Joaquin Phoenix.
there we go.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite version of live action version of Harley or Harleen Quinzel? Lady Gaga or Margot Robbie?
Margot Robbie.
Okay. Minus the outfit. Who is your favorite Harley Quinn?
I'm still gonna say Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
So
and that was also more authentic to the cartoon.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know it, Harley Quinn did not start in the comics. She has to start on the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
Yes, they definitely amped up the sexual nature of Harley, but that is very much, and that to me is, and most of the version we have Joker, we don't have Harley, but I will say in Suicide Squad, that was, I think, the relationship between Joker and Harley, they got right. Yeah, Jared Leto is more of a gangster than an anarchist playing the Joker, but he's not insane, which I don't think Joker has to be insane. It does play into his strength, but the fact that there's no doubt that the Jared Leto version of the Joker would burn the world down for Harley Quinn, which I think they got right. I think they got that right. And then my last one is this, because people are saying that Joker 2 is the worst superhero movie of all time. I think regarding at least big budget Marvel DC movies, I think there's a clear-cut winner to the worst superhero movie of all time. So I'm going to ask you, Bradley, though, which of these do you think is the worst? Which of these think is just the worst movie? It may not even be the worst of all time.
Yeah.
So Joker 2 versus the Bat Nipples, Batman and Robin '97. Which one do you think is the worst movie
The worst movie.
of those
I'm
two?
gonna say, man,
Are you
that's a
going
tough
Joker
one.
2?
I'm gonna say Joker 2 because we got Robin. Technically, we got Nightwing. Kind of
Yeah,
forego,
we
but
did, but the Bat
but we had a
Nipples, though,
really
bro.
bad Batgirl
And a really bad Mr. Freeze. I mean,
and a really
Schwarzenegger
bad Mr.
should
Freeze.
have been
Yes,
Mr. Freeze, but all the things, yeah.
yeah,
And probably the worst, and God love Uma Thurman, she tried, but that
yeah,
depiction of Poison Ivy and the worst Bane ever. The
correct,
worst Bane ever. I mean,
correct.
yeah, just the worst Bane absolutely ever. Okay. So with that being said, sir, let's talk anything you want to bring up. I know you want to talk about fall TV, but I don't know if you had anything else you want to bring up as well.
See Joker for yourself. Make
Yep.
your own opinions.
Yes, sir.
And because a lot of people are giving a lot of hate, and I don't think it's necessary hate. Just keep in mind that the Harley and the Joker that you have in this movie are not Harley Quinn. They're
Right.
never said Harley Quinn. You know, the Joker,
Mhm.
he's the inspiration for the Joker that
Yeah.
goes round and round with Batman, and take it for what it is.
Similar to Zoe Kravitz, as
Yeah.
well. She in the Batman movie, she's never called Catwoman.
Yeah.
I mean,
And don't forget to take your pills.
These are takes on characters that have decades of history and different versions. And I just like the fact that we have gotten to a point that once upon a time, the only thing when you talked about a superhero movie was somebody running around in spandex with really bad CGI behind them.
Yep.
Now we have major blockbusters movies. You have art house movies that are made regarding these characters. This is a good thing, folks.
Yeah.
This is a good thing. All right, my friend.
Halfway through Joker 2, the last thing I'll say, and then we'll move into fall TV.
Yes, sir.
But I wanted a Joker Who Laughs origin story. And
Yes.
I thought that's kind of was the direction that they're going to go.
And let's not forget, because I meant to mention this earlier, because I don't, and forgive me for remembering it. They also did this. Now, I think this is done. I don't think Todd Phillips is doing anything else with this.
No.
However, if another director wanted to pick up the mantle, they gave us two. So they gave us not only the origin of who I agree with you, of the Heath Ledger Joker. And that's the other thing. Especially if you follow this all the way through Batman Beyond, Joker doesn't always have to be one person.
No.
But then did you see the other origin story they definitely created in the movie?
Dent.
Yes. They gave us Two-Face. Whether we get that or not, they absolutely gave us the creation of Two-Face.
I mean, which it does kind of contradict, the Joker burning, down with Two-Face, because Two-Face is in that movie.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Yeah. Hey, that's okay. That's okay, because it's movie.
It gives us, but it also, I gotta say, I still prefer that, even if we didn't get an actual quote unquote Two-Face, still prefer the Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face.
Right. Absolutely.
Tommy Lee, there are a lot of great things you gave us. Thank you so much for The Fugitive. Thank you so much for The Men in Black.
There was a lot of purple there.
There was the whole lot. And those last two movies were so bloated. They just kept adding villain after villain after villain. I actually rewatched the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was a pretty good movie. Andrew Garfield did his damnedest. It's them trying to wedge in the Green Goblin for no good reason the last 15 minutes of that movie. That's where they lost the plot. So again, sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Fall TV, sir.
All right. So what I went through, a bunch of fall premieres are happening this month, and so I just want to know, are you gonna check out this show? You're gonna pass? Have you heard of it? A bunch of stuff here. First of all, we kind of talked a little bit about High Potential. High Potential has a ton of potential. It's a modern day Psych, in my opinion.
Yes.
Brian, are you liking High Potential?
Absolutely liking High Potential. So when I look at that, it's a really great show. It actually is taken after, and if you have Hulu or Disney Plus, you have Hulu. One of the great things is that High Potential is actually based on a British show that was called HIP, HIP, for High Intellectual Potential. So it's basically a take on that. I got to give Caitlin Olsen credit. I
Yes.
actually did not recognize her. I watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I watched The Mick. I totally did not recognize her. They definitely there's benefits to her. I mean, she's yeah.
Yes.
Give it to LA
Yeah.
Knight. Yeah. But the show is done really, really well. It does seem very much like a modern day Monk. Another show, so that's really good. Another show that just debuted. They debuted on CBS, and it took a couple weeks off. I think when NFL games get into its time slot. But Bradley, have you seen the reboot of Matlock?
I have not. That is on the list as well, though.
It
Kathy
has.
Bates.
It's worth a watch.
Okay, I'll definitely
Especially
check that out.
no spoilers, but especially watch it. It's worth it all the way to how the episode ends. The way the episode ends, it will make you want to watch more. Just
Nice.
throwing it out there.
All right, what about The Irrational?
I really liked the first season of The Irrational, so this is one of the ones that I am looking forward to season 2.
Okay.
I got to throw another one out. I know you let some other ones. A show that if you've not watched it, if you don't have MGM Plus, it's worth. MGM Plus has a lot of really good movies as well. So if you're a movie freak like I am, but literally how a lot of people paid for Apple Plus strictly because of their love for Ted Lasso, it is worth MGM Plus for From FROM.
I'm waiting until the season's done, then I'm
Yes.
gonna get in there.
Season 3.
Yeah, I've
Wow.
heard nothing but good things about this.
Season 1 is really good. Season 2 is really good. Season 3, we're only 3 episodes in. In fact, I might rewatch the first 3 episodes of season 3. Fantastic. Fantastic. Other shows you want to bring up, my friend?
Oh, I got a bunch of them here.
Let's do it.
The Legend of Vox Machina is
Yes.
back.
Yes.
We love this show. If you like our show, you probably like The Legend of Vox Machina.
If Bradley was a magical elf, he would be Scanlan.
This is true. This is
every
100%
time I
true.
see Scanlan, I was like, if he just had a beard, he'd be my boy.
Yeah,
he'd be my boy. I love Vox Machina so much.
And
as not a huge D&D guy, love Vox Machina so much.
We may have to do a D&D. We
may have to do a deep dive. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. All right.
What about Law and Order and Law and Order SVU?
Yes, and yes. I could not get back into the Christopher Maloney show. I think it's the organized crime one. Yeah, but SVU and SVU, Law and Order and Law and Order SVU, those always have like the soft spots in my heart. Of course. And did you know that Ice-T, and I think I may have said this to you before, Ice-T a few years ago set a record. Ice-T, the guy that made the song Cop Killer, and that is not hyperbole, is the longest running actor to play a police officer in television history.
So yes, which is funny, but he's actually played it long enough that if he was an actual cop, he would have a pension.
He could have retired. He could have had the pension. By the way, that means more than Marshall Dillon, like the guy that was on the show. Yes, so Ice-T in television history is the longest running cop ever. All right.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
I'm more of a fan of SVU than I am of Law and Order. The new updated Law and Order is just like, if there's nothing else on, that's what I'm gonna go to.
Same.
Found.
This is where you and I had a bit of a disagreement. I know you were not a big fan of Found. Yeah. I really like Found. I like Found a little more than I like The Irrational. I really like The Irrational. I like Found a little bit better. I was a huge fan of Shameless, so you've got a similar star. And I just like the idea of Mark Paul Gosselaar, the Zack Attack as a broken child trafficker. I absolutely, something about that just makes perfect sense. Yes.
All right, Superman and Lois, final season.
I will check it out.
Me too. I don't even think I watched it.
Lost a little steam. Yeah, I'm about to say lost a little steam last season. Yes.
Yeah. All right, what about Outer Banks?
Wasn't a big fan of the first season.
I never watched it.
It was okay. It was all right.
I've never watched it.
It was okay.
But
it was all right.
Yeah. I know one of the guys from Big Brother is going to be in the new season.
Okay.
What about? There's a brand new show out on Apple called Disclaimer with Kate Blanchett.
I've seen the trailers. It looks really good, and it's Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, you can't go
It's
wrong.
Kate Blanchett. I mean, and to pull in the Lord of the Rings thing, I would have just gave her the rings. Like, all right, yeah. Why are we screw the Eagles, man? Hey,
right?
taking a shot.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, I'd rather see you with him than Gandalf. Like, all right, let's see what we can do here. Okay.
All right. Now, this show, I know we're both excited for. Tracker comes back tonight. Actually, I think it's on right now.
Minus though one of the handlers. Did you see one of the women in the couple actually left the show?
I did not. Which one?
I am not remember at the top of my head, but one of the members of the couple, and I maybe in the first season again. You're right, it's on now. Maybe they'll explain it the first episode. But my understanding is she was not coming. One of them, and forgive me for not knowing which actress it is, but one of the members of the couple is not in this season.
That's okay, because you know what? They weren't a good couple.
You've said it before, and I think maybe because Tracker is a really good show, but it's a very focused show, and it did seem like it had a bit of maybe a bloated cast. So I think they can make it a little tighter just by losing one cast member.
Yeah, it felt like they had to work way too hard.
The rookie sometimes has like a bunch of people trying to squeeze in. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
What about NCIS and NCIS Origins?
I'm really excited for NCIS Origins.
Me
NCIS
too.
I'll definitely watch, but NCIS Origins I'm very excited, and I believe they're back to back. Maybe
I think so too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to see Jethro as a probie. I really want to see Jethro's, but I really hope, and I don't know this, I really hope they make him a flawed probie. I don't want him to be the best agent flat out of the Marines. I don't want that. I want to see what made you, how did the rules come about. Yeah, I want to see all those things. I want to see that.
I mean, that's how you make rules for your life, is by making mistakes.
Absolutely.
And I want to see those mistakes.
Absolutely.
How he becomes. Yeah. Jethro Gibbs is one of the best characters that TV's created.
Yes.
Is that fair? Do you think that's fair?
I think it's really fair. And the fact that Mark Harmon's involved in, again, which both good and bad. I just hope he lets the character grow. Again, I want to see the progression of Probie Jethro to the boss of NCIS. Yep.
Nice. All right, what about Blue Bloods?
I've never been a huge Blue Bloods fan.
Okay, fair enough.
Never been. I mean, I've definitely watched it, but never been a huge Blue Bloods fan. Is this the final season?
I think so. I mean,
okay.
I don't know how much more Tom Selleck can do.
Legitimately.
I mean, like, dude, you're. I think he's in his upper 80s, and he still looks good in a freaking mustache. So I mean,
did Magnum PI the reboot? Did that take hold, or did it get canceled?
No, it went for several seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay Hernandez was it? Yeah, I mean, it's just hard looking at the Hawaiian shirt without a mustache. I was
thinking that if that show was still on, I would love to see before Blue Bloods, or at least Tom Selleck has ran his course, him to make some type of. I just looked up. He is 79. He'll turn 80 in a couple months. He turns 80 in January.
And I think the guy that plays his dad is only like a couple of years older than him.
Did you know that back in the Cosby Show, Felicia Rashad is only 4 years older than the actress that plays Sandra?
No shit. That's funny.
So it's like, okay.
All right.
There we go.
And from
that show,
knowing what we know now,
in hindsight, there were some creepy moments about that show, and that's just one of them, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. Now, here's a show that I'm really looking forward to. I absolutely loved season 1, and I don't remember if you liked it or not, but Shrinking.
I don't remember Shrinking.
It's on Apple TV. It's got Harrison Ford.
Okay.
And oh gosh, I can't even think of the guy's name. Jason. Can't think of it. Anyway, check it out. It's awesome.
Okay.
They play shrinks, but they're shrinking each other. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a show that you talked me into watching.
I hope it's the one I'm thinking of.
And I'm glad you did. Elsbeth.
Yes. That is the one that I am most, other than From, which has already started.
Yeah.
Of the CBS ones, and again, this is CBS Premiere Week. That's why I'm saying there's a lot of things dropping this week. Elsbeth is the one I was a big fan of The Good Wife and then The Good Fight, which is where the Elsbeth character, we really saw a lot of the Elsbeth character. The Elsbeth character is a side character in both The Good Wife and then a little bit more prominent in The Good Fight and with her own spinoff. I mean, that show, as much as High Potential is Psych, Elsbeth is Monk.
Mm-hmm.
And just done so well. All right.
This is one I am looking forward to. No, this is a spin-off of a spin-off. And that is Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. I am looking forward to the laughs on that one for sure.
Did you see the 3 cast members from The Big Bang Theory that are now in George and Mandy's First Marriage?
I did not.
They have added the character Stewart. I forget her name, but the actress the character that plays his girlfriend, and Brian Posner's character of the geologist. They will actually be on that show.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. I wonder how that's going to
Not sure
play.
how they're doing it, but they are tying them into that show.
Cool. I'm for it. 100%. Here's a show. I'm still a few seasons behind, and I don't have a reason why, because I really dig the show. Ghosts.
So good.
Yeah.
Both the American and British version, it is so good. And there's all the small inside jokes. It is one of those that I literally will just start episode 5 of season 2 just because it's one of those shows very much similar to Scrubs that you can they have ongoing storylines, but if you just want something to get a quick laugh, it's 20 some odd minutes of your day without commercials when you stream it. It is fantastic. It is really funny. And as the show's gone on, they really expanded the backstories of the ghosts, and that by itself, it is just a really good show. It's a really good show.
I agree 100%. Now, this show I'm very, very excited for. I think it comes out next week.
All right,
Fire Country,
sir.
Dude, I
wanted to not like Fire Country. I'm like, this is something from the CW, right?
This sounds so stupid.
It does, but it totally like you just dig it. And I have a few friends that they call it the Bodie Show, which fine, whatever works for you.
Yep.
Sure. But it's actually really well done. You actually care about the characters, which at the end of the day, that's what makes the show good. If you care about the characters. And yes, they got to come up with a reason that the town catches on fire every damn week. But I grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard, and it never bothered me that every week somehow Bo and Luke will find some type of ramp to jump over something. Yeah. All right. There's part it becomes a popcorn show because they're characters that I dig. So absolutely looking forward to Fire Country.
Yep. And then a show I don't know if we ever talked about it, but a show that I really liked came in the season 2 is going to be dropping on Netflix soon. The Diplomat. Carrie.
Yes.
Carrie.
Really like The Diplomat. We mentioned it very, very briefly. I was trying to catch up on it. Really like The Diplomat.
I watched that and Night Agent back to back, and it was just some of the best TV moments.
So good.
The political intrigue, man, was just so good.
Did you ever watch The Americans with her?
Yes.
So, I mean, she is again, not to throw shade or shame, but Felicity was not my cup of tea. Seriously, she, similar to why we don't watch Grey's Anatomy, it's not our bag. If you love the shows, good for you.
Cool.
But both The Americans and The Diplomat, fantastic.
And then finally, a show that I'm going to watch probably right after this, Teacup.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch any of it?
Yes. So here's what I'll say. If you've not seen From, you said you haven't, you're waiting. Teacup and From have very similar vibes.
Cool.
That's what I heard. Very similar vibes. So if you like Teacup, you'll like From. If you like From, you'll like Teacup.
Yep. And how many episodes is From?
From is 10 episodes per season, so we're moving into so you had 20 from the first 2 seasons. We just had the 3rd episode, which drops on I think on Sunday. So I think we're 23-ish episodes into it.
Okay, so probably here at the end of the year, I'll jump into MGM.
Yes,
Is
and
MGM
by the way, From is very rewatchable because and I don't try to because I think lost its plot as the seasons went on. But very similar, at least to the first 2 to 3 seasons of Lost, is there's lots of small little things that when you rewatch it, you go, okay, that means something now because you know where it's going to show up later, right?
Nice.
So watch From is a very rewatchable show.
Okay, Cool. Did I miss any shows?
Nothing super well. We did talk about. I don't know if you've seen it. Brilliant Minds on NBC with Zachary Quinto.
I couldn't get into it, man.
It wants to be House, but it's not.
Yeah.
And I hope it gets there at some point. But it really has. It really wants to be. I am basically making myself watch because I really I like Zachary Quinto. I like the premise.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking as it gets further into it, maybe it'll catch its stride.
Mhm.
I have been. You talked a lot about your love of Big Brother. I don't think I've mentioned the show. My popcorn guilty pleasure is Dancing with the Stars, and I love Dancing with the Stars. Juliana Huff. Yes,
I've
thank
never
you very
watched that
much.
show. I have never watched one episode of
It's
Dancing with the
fantastic.
Stars.
It's fantastic. Now, the first few seasons I didn't watch because it's gotten better because they've actually mixed around the hosts a little bit. So the current hosts are Julianne Hough, who had been a dancer
Mhm.
on the show for many years. So she now is a host, and Alfonso Ribeiro from Fresh Prince fame is the host. Tyra Banks was the host for like a couple seasons. It was wretched. She just no.
Yeah.
But Alfonso and Julianne have fantastic chemistry, and they've done a really good job of casting celebrities that are, number one, celebrities that can dance,
Mhm.
but also celebrities that have really good backstories. And it's fantastic. Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing won a few years ago. They've had a ton of NFL players win. Reginald Vale Johnson from Family Matters is on it, which has been fantastic. You've had Marley Matlin, who's deaf,
Mhm.
who's been on it. You had Selma Blair, who experiences MS. So she actually, as for a person who uses a cane for walking, she actually competed in a dance competition.
That's amazing.
So those really, they very humanize it. So actually, last season's winner, just to ruin it for you, last season's winner was actually the actress that played America Chavez in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So you got to learn a lot about her as a person.
Mhm.
And again, fantastic. So Dance with the Stars, I think we're 4 episodes in. Good watch. You can stream it on Disney Plus or actually watch it live on Disney Plus. So I want to definitely give that one. We talked about High Potential. Yellow Jackets will be returning very soon. We
I
talked
did
about
season 1, man.
yes, absolutely.
That hit Netflix, and that was what we went to.
Yes, it is. It is
Holy
really good. It
shit.
is really, really good. So that's a lot of high note ones that we've talked about. Very, very excited for a lot of those things. And of course, since we love wrestling, don't forget in the next few weeks, turning into the new year, Raw, which has been on USA for the most part its entire existence, other than a couple years on what is now Spike, but what used to be the Nashville network. That will be going to Raw. SmackDown, I understand, will be once Raw goes to a 2-hour version of Raw goes to Netflix. SmackDown will be going to a 3-hour format on Friday nights on the USA Network. And one last thing I got to get is Bradley, did you, as much as we love wrestling, have you watched Mr. McMahon yet? The documentary on Vince McMahon.
I have not.
It is fantastic, especially because so much of his real life horrible things have now happened as the documentary was wrapping. So they have to talk about that. You hear a lot of the background when it comes to his relationship with Hulk Hogan, his relationship with Stone Cold Steve Austin, his relationship with Bret Hart, his relationship with The Undertaker. But the big ones are his relationships with Stephanie and Shane. And Shane, so beyond, other than Vince, the big people that are in the show are there's a lot of Undertaker, there's a lot of Bret Hart, there's a lot of Stone Cold, there's a lot of a very humble Shawn Michaels. There's a lot of Triple H, as you can imagine, with his current position. There's a lot of Bruce Pritchard, which from the corporate side of it, a little bit of Linda, especially towards the tail end of the episodes. A lot of Shane, a lot of Stephanie, a decent amount of Booker T. Tony Atlas steals it. Tony Atlas steals the show. But truthfully, fathers and sons, man.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. There's so much of the dynamic between Vince and his father, and so much about Shane and Vince. So it is definitely fathers and sons. Not to mention, and they talk a lot about the steroid trial. They talk a lot about the Montreal screw job, all those things. And it's very, very interesting. So again, it's 6 episodes. They're about an hour a piece, so you do need to invest a little bit of time. But I got to give Mr. McMahon, just for as wrestling fans, to get that whole behind the curtain stuff that's happening in the world of wrestling.
Nice. Now, do you got a honest ad?
I do, sir. Are you ready? Then we'll talk about
ready.
Better Than Us Humans of the Week. All right. So here's my honest ad. So Bradley, I know you see my Facebook posts all the time. So folks, you may or may not notice with your good old buddy Brian, I hate me some candy corn. I hate it. Every October, I throw nothing but shade at candy corn for the entire month of October. So here is my next bit of shade in an honest ad for candy corn. It breaks your heart. It breaks your teeth. This candy and I have so much beef. It's old, it's stale, it lacks flavor, leaving only pain for you to savor. Yellow, orange, white, and sometimes brown. Seeing this on Halloween will truly make you frown. All trick, no treat, no hocus or pocus. Finding this in your bag is so damn bogus. Give me Snickers, M&Ms, and of course, a peanut butter cup. Hell, I'll even take some circus peanuts if that will shut you up. Candy corn sucks. From the bottom to the top, at the end of the day on Halloween, just give me a cough drop. My honest ad for candy corn, my friend.
Well done. And you got a Better Than Us Human of the Week?
I do, and I want to thank you for it, because I'm now incredibly hyped for Lanterns, because we now have the cast of Aaron Pierre as John Stewart, as well as Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan.
And Nathan Fillion as Guy. The only one we don't have is Kyle.
Yes. So we are truthfully rounded that out.
Jessica and Baz, I guess, but
yeah. As well as more information is coming out. I'll see if I can find an article to send to you. More information coming out about the Waller show that's going to feature Viola Davis. So that is also in the works right now.
Nice. I am excited for.
And Waller will be. They've already said Waller will be a crossover show with Peacemaker.
Oh, sweet. All right. Now, my Better Than Us Human of the Week is my eldest daughter, Kendall, and her boyfriend, Will, out in Seattle. They had their final senior thesis. I wish I could have been there, but we live half a country away, and unfortunately couldn't get there. But she rocked it out of the park. She killed it. She slayed it. She did all the things that whatever is the correct term. And it's her birthday in a couple days. It's her birthday coming up on the 18th. She's going to be 22.
Woo.
And just like the Taylor Swift song, she hates Taylor Swift. So, yeah. But kid, you may hate Taylor Swift, but I love you.
I wear shirts, she wears short skirts, and that's gonna stop right there before I embarrass myself. All right, my friend. Hey, by the way, congrats to my Atlanta Falcons. They're now 4-2. They lead the NFC West. Whoop whoop. So good job out of them. And sir, I think we need to put a pin in this one. Let's send them home like we do every time.
All right. Well, you can find me from here. Follow me at Facebook at Nerd Positive, YouTube at Nerd Positive 1, TikTok at Nerd Positive 1, and movies.bs. I started posting again on TikTok, get some little mini episodes of what the lunch break reviews are. Check those out. Let me know. And if you want to have more talks, you can talk with Brian and I, or just me, and we'll have a good time. You know what, Brian? Where can we find you?
All right, sir. As always, you can find me in the Book of Faces at Brian Stephen Dennis. Give me a like, give me a follow. I try and keep my page funny and occasionally weird.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Let's just go into it. Thanks for leveling up my awesome every week. Brian, we are at max levels of awesome. Let's end it like we do every week.
All right. Thank you again, boys and girls, for joining us from all over the podcast universe. Truthfully, the best part of our week. Thank you for catching the pandemic and now testing Nerd Positive. As always, please join us every single week. And remember, no retreat, no surrender, and Goonies, never say die.
Remember, friendship is like peeing on yourself. Everyone can see it, but only you get the warm feeling that it brings. If you think about it every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. Squirrels' cheeks are their nutsacks. And Brian, what do you say when Simba isn't moving fast enough? Mufasa. Have a good day.